The subject today is going to be main ideas. Main idea seems to be a big issue with students having comprehension problems, and searching for the main idea. Once you learn that strategy, then your comprehension hopefully will be enhanced, or it will increase your comprehension once you learn the strategy on how to pick out the main idea sentence. Some of the other things that you may have heard as far as the main idea sentence, sometimes it's called the topic sentence. In some of the English classes it is similar to a thesis statement. However, we're going to focus more on the main idea because we're dealing with paragraphs, and usually with a paragraph it's going to be called the main idea of that paragraph or the topic sentence of the paragraph. So we're going to start out by doing a PowerPoint that's going to help us so I can show you the paragraphs and kind of take you through some of the strategies that will help you understand the paragraph that you're reading. If you can start out by using this strategy in paragraphs, then by the time you start reading longer segments, you can use this same strategy to help you understand the material that you are about to read. So main ideas, again, this is a topic that a lot of students have trouble with. If you took the ACT test, you had a lot of paragraph reading on this, and sometimes a lot of students get frustrated because they get tired of reading the paragraphs and they tend to start guessing. But hopefully I can show you some strategies that when you, if you have to take any other test similar to this, whether it be, at this point you're probably not taking the ACT, but if you take the placement test, then you're going to deal with some of these same things. So first, again, if you've watched my other lessons, I always have terms that I would like to introduce to you that are part of this particular lesson, because once you understand the meaning of those terms, it will help you understand the strategy that I'm trying to teach. So as I said earlier, we're going to focus on main ideas, and I always give you the textbook definition, but sometimes if I can kind of shorten it or put it in simple terms, then I will do that as well. But the main idea is the author's controlling point about the topic. It usually includes the topic and the author's attitude or opinion about the topic, or the author's approach to the topic. Now that's a lot of words. That's a lot of information for the main idea. So really what the main idea is, it's the most important sentence in that paragraph, because that sentence is going to tell us what the rest of the paragraph is going to be about. Okay, so if you can't remember all of that, the author's controlling point about a topic, their attitude, their opinion, just remember this: the main idea is going to be the most important sentence in that paragraph, and it's going to explain, but it's going to be very general. Okay, it's not going to give you any details. It's going to be a very general statement that's going to sum up what they're going to talk about within that paragraph, or if it's a longer piece, within that essay. Okay, now when you're looking to define or you're looking to find the main idea, you're going to ask yourself two questions. The first question: who or what is the paragraph about? Okay, what is the author's controlling point about the topic? And remember, we said that's what the main idea is. The topic, on the other hand, is a little bit different, and I'm going to explain or show you the difference between the two, because a lot of students get confused when I say the main idea and the topic. Okay, because I did also mention earlier that we can call this either the main idea or the topic sentence. Okay, but there is a difference, and I'm going to show you the difference, and also another key term that you need to know for this particular topic, or for this particular subject. Topic, that's just the general idea of the subject, the very general idea. And this is going to be stated in a sentence or just a few words. Okay. The main idea, however, the author's controlling point, it is the topic sentence, and it's going to be a complete sentence. The topic is going to be just a few words stated within that sentence. Okay. For instance, the topic is going to be something like, if your instructor asked you to write a paper, okay, and they said, you said, well, I don't really know what to write on. And so they will give you different topics. You might want to write on education. You might want to write on sports. You might want to write on friendships. So as you can see, one word or a few keywords, that's going to be your topic. Your main idea or your topic sentence is going to be a complete sentence, and it's going to be very general, okay? And so that's the difference between the two. Topic, one word, or just a few words, okay? General idea. Main idea is the author's controlling point, and it's often stated as your topic sentence, or it's going to be a complete sentence, but very general, okay? And then we add to the rest of that your supporting details, and this kind of completes your paragraph. Supporting details, they help develop, explain, or support the main idea. So once you come up with your topic, and then you come up with your topic sentence or your main idea sentence, then you have to support that main idea, okay? And your support is going to develop, it's going to explain, and it's going to support it, okay? So you have the general statement, and then you have now your supporting details, okay? And our next lesson will go into supporting details a little bit more, but I thought I'd introduce it to you in this lesson as well, because you're going to see some different things that we're going to point out, okay? Here's another thing about when you're trying to find the topic, you want to make sure that it's not too narrow or too broad, okay? For example, if someone gave you this paragraph, pollution, rain, salt air can cause serious damage to your car's finish. Waxing your car a few times a year will provide it with much needed protection. Occasional waxing not only keeps your car looking good, but it also extends its life and maintains the car's resale value. When you wax, wash, and dry your car first to avoid grinding dirt into the finish, and wax in the shade for best results. So what you have to now determine, we're just looking for the topic, okay? We're not looking for that complete sentence. We're looking for that one word about the subject, one word or short phrase, okay? And keep in mind, we just said you don't want to be too broad or too narrow. So if you had to choose, which one of these would you choose to be your topic? Okay? I'll give you a few seconds to look at it. This is the one you should have chosen, okay? Waxing your car for protection, because it gives us more information. Waxing your car, that's too broad, and it really didn't talk about waxing for resale, okay? So waxing your car for protection, and then now you would take that topic and put it into a complete sentence, and then you would talk about what you need to do, your supporting details to wax for protection, okay? So a topic sentence is going to be a single sentence that states the author's main idea. And remember, again, we'll go back and forth, but topic sentence and main idea is basically the same thing. This next point right here is where a lot of students don't get either, they don't get all the information, or they assume that the main idea sentence or the topic sentence is always in the very beginning, because that's kind of the way we're taught to write our paragraphs. However, when you're reading paragraphs and when you are reading essays, keep this in mind. The topic sentence can come in 4 different locations, okay? The topic sentence can be at the beginning of the paragraph, which is most of the time that's where it is. It can be within the paragraph, and when I say within the paragraph, I mean somewhere in the middle, okay? They may give you some of the details at the very beginning, and then give you the topic sentence, and then give you more details after that, okay? It may also come at the very end, And this is where students get in trouble when they take these standardized tests like the placement test and the ACT. They kind of briefly run through it, and if you don't finish the paragraph, you may miss the topic because it may be the very last sentence. They may give you all the details at the very beginning, and then they may give you that main idea sentence or the topic sentence at the very end. The last place, and this doesn't happen very often, but sometimes the author will give you the main idea sentence or the topic sentence at the beginning and the end. If this is the case, it's only going to appear in that very first sentence. They'll give you the details, and then they will give you the very last sentence to kind of wrap it up or restate it. Okay, so it can come at the beginning and the end. In most cases, especially with paragraphs, with a paragraph usually you are going to only have one topic sentence or one main idea sentence. Now when you start looking at essays and longer pieces, then you will have sometimes they'll separate it and you may have more than one. Okay, here's another paragraph, and I'll let you take a few minutes and read this paragraph. And remember, we're trying to locate the topic sentence. Remember what we said, probably the easiest way to locate the topic sentence is if you can locate the topic. Remember that one word or short phrase. Ask yourself the questions, who or what is this about? Okay, one word or short phrase. After you figure that out, then you look for the sentence that's going to give you a very general statement, but the rest of the paragraph has to support it. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few minutes to read this, and then we'll go over it together. Okay, so after reading this, the first thing you ask yourself, what is the topic? What is that one word or short phrase that they're talking about? What's the subject matter? And as you can see, they're talking about SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome. Okay, so they're talking about SARS. Now the next question you should ask yourself, what do they want us to know about SARS? Okay, they want us to know that it is a new and serious disease. So the first sentence would be your main idea sentence in this case. SARS is a new and serious disease. How do we know it's a serious disease? And this is how you can double check. We know it's a serious disease, and this is where we check our supporting details. Okay, it's a serious disease because it was first noticed in 2003, and I know that's not as current as it should be, but that's one of the big things is when it was noticed. It can begin with a fever that's higher than 100.4, so that tells us it's serious. Then it gives other signs, but what really is kind of scary and is serious is that it has led to death in some cases. Okay, so those are going to be your details. If your details support the statement that you choose, then you have chosen the right sentence as your main idea sentence. Okay, so our topic was SARS, and our main idea sentence is that it is a new and serious disease, which is our first sentence. Okay, and I just kind of highlighted that so you could see it. Here's another paragraph also, and again, do the same thing, determine what the topic is, and then see if you can find the sentence that is very general but sums up what the rest of the paragraph is going to be about. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to read this one as well. Okay, hopefully everybody got a chance to read through it, okay? So the first thing we need to know is what is our subject, which is our one word or short phrase, okay, that they're talking about in this paragraph. And you should have chosen, they're talking about ice cream, okay, or sugar ice. Now, what do they want us to know about ice cream or sugar ice? And if you answered that question, you should have come up with this sentence right here. The 3 most common myths include an explorer and 2 members of royalty. Okay, so when I said that we should be talking about sugar ice, basically we're talking about the myths of ice cream or the myths of sugar ice. So I'm sorry I left that out. Now, many of my students in the past have chosen this sentence as the main idea sentence. This could be the main idea sentence, but however, this one is more specific. This talks about many myths. We don't discuss all the many myths, or we don't discuss the myths because there are tons of them out there. What this paragraph is going to focus on, we're going to focus on the 3 most common. Okay, so the 3 most common myths are, here's the first one. Okay, had Marco Polo bringing in the water ices from China to Italy. Here's another myth. So that tells us, here's the second. We said we're going to talk about 3. So this paragraph has to talk about 3 myths. So here's the first one. Here's another myth. And then here's our third myth. So these are our supporting details, and they all support this one general statement. Okay, and that's how you double check. Another way to find your main idea sentence is look for this first major detail. If they say one thing is, the first thing is, you can always back up, and right in front of this is going to be your main idea sentence. Okay, so our topic, our one word or short phrase, we were talking about the myths of sugar ice or ice cream, and more specifically our main idea sentence or our topic sentence, we were going to talk about the 3 most common myths, and that's what we did within this paragraph. Okay, let's look at one more. This one is rather long, a little bit different, but make sure you read it all the way to the end. Okay, and I'll give you a few minutes to read this one, and we'll talk about this one. Okay, so this one is a little bit different. Okay, it's talking about a person. So our topic is going to be 14-year-old Laura Cantrell. Okay, and as you can see, it gave us all the details when her friend Rebecca Anderson lied for her. She wanted to date this older guy, 27 years old, even though she was 14. Parents disagreed with it, so she had her friend Rebecca lie and say she was going to stay at her house. Now, after you read all of that, we find that our main idea sentence is at the very end. A lie that seems harmless can have devastating results. So this is what the author or whoever wrote this is what they wanted us to know. This would be our topic sentence or our main idea sentence. A lie that seems harmless can have devastating results. How do we double check this? We go back and we look at our supporting details, because this is what happened. She's 14, he's 27. Rebecca thought she was just doing her friend a favor, and she lied for her, covered for her. Rebecca and Sam run away, and then, you know, it affects everybody. So what seemed harmless can have devastating results. This came at the very end, so that's why earlier I said, if you don't read the whole paragraph, which I know a lot of us are guilty of just kind of skimming through and not going all the way to the end, you might miss your main idea sentence. So you have to read the whole paragraph and then ask yourself, what's the topic, the one word or the short phrase, and then what sentence sums up this paragraph. It's very general, doesn't have details. Okay? This is the last paragraph. And again, I'll give you, how about I read this one for you? Okay? We'll get through it and then we'll go back together and look at it. It says, using art as a form of therapy calls for a level of concentration that allows a person to relieve the pain of mental or emotional stress. Art therapy is not limited to painting or drawing, but can include dance, photography, music, writing, or any other form of art. The main goal is self-expression. It allows a person to use visual means to explore feelings and emotions, to make the unseen seen, to discover how the mind works. Art therapy does not require artistic ability, nor does it demand high artistic product. Indeed, art therapy focuses on the process, not the product. Art is therapy, art heals. Okay? So again, what's our topic? Our topic being one word or short phrase. Okay? You should check art or art therapy. Art or art therapy, and then ask yourself, which sentence in this paragraph talks about art therapy, is very general, but is going to tell me what they're going to talk about within the paragraph. This one, a little bit tricky because it's the first and the last sentence. Remember, I said there are times when the author will give you the topic sentence or the main idea sentence in the very beginning, give you all the details, and then give you the main idea sentence again. Now, it doesn't have to be the exact same wording, but it should say pretty close to the same thing. Using art as a form of therapy calls for a level of concentration that allows a person to relieve the pain of mental or emotional stress. And then look at our last sentence, art is therapy, art heals. So they're both saying the same thing. One's a little bit longer, the other one is short. And then if you look within the paragraph, it tells how art therapy heals, and it gives you all of this information, and these are your supporting details that support this statement and this statement. Okay? So to kind of review what we have talked about, we talked about the main idea, and we said the main idea is the author's controlling point about the topic or the most important sentence within that paragraph. And it's always very general. It does not contain the details. The topic is the general subject matter, and it can be stated in one word or a short phrase. Okay? We mentioned 2 questions that you can ask yourself when you're trying to locate the main idea. What is the topic, and what is the author's controlling point about the topic? And the last thing we talked about as far as the terms was supporting details. We said the supporting details develop, explain, they give you more information about the main idea. And without the supporting details, you don't really have a paragraph. You have your main idea and your topic, but then you've got to finish your paragraph by adding those supporting details. And we will discuss supporting details in the next lesson.